Let us understand how MapReduce works. MapReduce is a programming methodology to solve any problem statement in a distributed environment. Hadoop uses MapReduce predominantly to solve the distributed problem statement. Let us have a quick understanding by considering a small example. Assume I have a text file with 5 lines. And for the understanding purpose, let's consider that file size is of 150 MB. As such, as per the default criteria, it's going to slice it based on the default block size, that is 128 MB and 22 MB. It might get distributed across different systems. Let's understand the first block, that is 128 MB, that's having 3 lines, and 22 MB, that is having 2 lines. And of course, Hadoop is intelligent enough to handle even if the record is broken across the blocks. That's going to be the advanced configuration as well as the advanced programming. Let us not worry about that now. So I do have 3 lines, and I'll be having a driver which defines the configuration, what is the type of file, how I wanted to read, and what is the output that I am expecting, what is the format of the output. We call that as a driver. And here I would be mentioning each and every line is a record. And MapReduce as such, it gets executed in 2 phases, that is map and reduce. I need to give the logic on what needs to be done against the map. And Hadoop as a framework, it reads each and every record and it provides a record as an input. So it's going to provide 1 line as an input for every processing. And to do the word frequency count, I'm going to solve the problem statement. I'm going to count and list all the unique words and their frequency within that specific file. For that, I need to split this particular line into words. So I'll use space as the delimiter, and I will be mapping a value against each and every word. I'll be using the word as the key, and I'll be mapping a value against each and every word. So hello will be added as a key, and a number 1 will be added as a value. So the map task is, it's going to map a value against each and every key. It doesn't do anything beyond that. So I'm going to have each and every word and the value 1 against it. Then internally there is a process that happens that is called sort and shuffle. So this particular process that's going to happen in 2 different machines simultaneously. Once all the map task gets over, internally it's going to run a task called sort and shuffle. It does a simple logic of consolidate all values corresponding to same key. In the sense, it's going to list all the unique keys and all the value corresponding to it, it's going to consolidate. Let's say for hello, it will be consolidating 1, 1, 1, 1. So the 2 ones comes from the first processing output, and the other one comes from the other output. The same way, it's going to consolidate all the unique words. In this case, the key word appeared 3 times. So all the 3 values corresponding to that particular key. So I do have 1 over here, another one that got collected. So it's going to consolidate all the value corresponding to the same key. So the programming for the map task would be to leverage this particular process of consolidating all the value corresponding to the same key. Now I'll be having 5 records, and this is where I will be implementing the reduce logic. What reduce logic does, it's going to apply a function against the collection of values against each and every record. In this case, I wanted to count how many times it appeared, so I need to apply a function of doing the count of how many ones I do have. For each record, I'll be counting how many ones do I have, so I'll be applying a function of going over all this collection and get the output as sum. So I have got the desired output. So basically, as a developer, all I need is to represent this map logic, what value to be mapped against what key that I have to code, and the reduce logic, that is what function needs to be applied against the collection of values do I have. And I need to provide the driver, in the sense what is the type of input, what makes a record. So all those details I need to provide. So as a developer, I'll be representing 3 informations, that is the driver, map task, and reduce task. By default, in any MapReduce programming, the number of map tasks that finally got executed within the environment will be equivalent to the number of blocks that we have against the file. And the reduce is not mandatory. Depending on the problem statement that we are solving, reduce may get executed or may not. And by default, reduce will be 1, and programmatically that can also be controlled. And driver, every application will have this particular driver to control how that particular program or that MapReduce task should get executed.